Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to another Mindset Monday today. Just want to remind you to hit that subscribe button down below and let's get to it. Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to another Mindset Monday today. Today we're going to be looking at the 7 choices of maturity and character. And we're going to be taking some time to explore these and unpack them and answer them with some questions. So the first one is teaching others versus being taught. What are you currently learning that you could begin sharing with others today? What steps can you take towards becoming a better teacher for others? And so looking at this, teaching others versus being taught. When we're younger, when we're in school, when we're, toddlers and teenagers and moving towards adolescence and adulthood, we're going through school, we're being taught by others, we're learning and growing. And once we get out of, let's say, college or high school, we have now gotten to a point where we can actually teach others things that we've learned, whether it be life experiences, whether it be subjects in school that we've learned, and other things. But the growth that we get from learning, we eventually can share with others and teach others. And so oddly enough, I'm teaching you guys right now about these things that we're going to talk about. But of course, I've had to learn them from somebody else or from some other teachings. So in a sense, I was being taught and now I'm sharing it with you guys. And that's the choice that I made. And so I wanted to just throw that little example in there for you guys. So moving on to the next one, self-evaluation versus self-criticism. Do you opt for self-criticism or self-evaluation? Are you your own best friend or worst enemy? What changes can you make today becoming a better evaluator of yourself? And the way that I look at this one is there's the positive and the negative of this. And you'll notice that a couple of these are like that. It's a positive negative type setup. Some of them aren't as black and white. And with this one, self-evaluation is really the positive side where you bring yourself up. You look at yourself and you evaluate and you go, I'm really good at these things. I'm really good at this. I'm doing good at this today, but I can work on this a little bit more. And you bring yourself up. You don't really tear yourself down as much as with self-criticism. Self-criticism is where you look at all the negative things about yourself and you tear yourself down and you sit there and you criticize what you're doing wrong and how you're a failure and all of these other things that are going on with you. So I implore you to start working more towards self-evaluation than self-criticism, because you're going to learn that when you evaluate yourself and you start to reflect yourself in a positive light, things will start to be more positive in your life. You'll start to feel a little bit more happy. So moving on to the third one, seeking unity versus promoting disunity. Are you committed to working with and understanding other people, or are you more interested in just doing things your own way? What changes can you begin making today to better understand others and begin working towards unity with other people? This is another one that's very black and white. Either you can work well with people, you can be tolerant of ideas, religion, different perspectives, ways of life that they have, or you can go the other extreme where you don't really want to be around these people because they're different than you, or they're not you because you want to be selfish, you want to be with yourself or do what you want to do or your ideas. Now, I'm not saying it's wrong to do things that you want to do. I'm saying that it can promote disunity if you're in a group of friends or a group of people and you're always imposing that your idea is right or that you don't need no help. Do you see where this is going? So it's not a bad thing to do what you want to do, but you have to look at the context of things and who you're around and with. Number 4, this one probably one of my favorites to look at, is because it's living by faith versus living in fear. And I see a lot of people nowadays living in fear. So do you take risks in faith that things will work out for the best, Or do you tend to play it safe in fear of making mistakes? How much more could you achieve with your life if you were to stop exercising fear and start exercising more faith? And the reason why I like this one so much is because I took a leap of faith, is what they call it. And I quit my job that I was secured in and went out on my own and have started doing my own things, have, in a sense, started working for myself, starting to create a business of my own, started my YouTube channel, and a lot of other things that people looked at me and said, "You're crazy. Why would you do that? What if it doesn't work? What if you fail at it?" That's living in fear. All of these people telling me these things are people that are living in fear because they're afraid that I'm making the wrong choice. Well, really, I won't know if I'm making the wrong choice until I actually do it. So I've been going on and doing these things. And you know what? I've honestly been happier more than ever. And so sometimes living in fear is really not happiness for us. A lot of people think, oh, I have a safe job. I have my nice little place that I live in. I take a vacation every once in a while, and my life is safe. For you, hey, that may be great. I get that. Some people, that isn't living in fear. That's living by faith for them. Really, this just comes down to your perspective. A lot of these choices of maturity and character come down to your perspective. One person may think that you're living by faith, and another person may be thinking that you're living in fear. Really, nobody's right or wrong. I just like to look at this and tell you that, hey, a lot of people told me I was crazy, that I was making mistakes. The way I see it is that they are living in fear and I'm living by faith. On the other hand, it could be the exact opposite for them. So just wanted to share that one with you, that example. And let's move on to number 5. Number 5 is lifestyle governed by truth versus lifestyle governed by feelings. Now this one's a little touchy because this is one that's not so black and white. This is one that's really, really based on your perspective and your understanding of certain things. So, are you completely honest with yourself and others in all areas of life? Do you hold yourself back just to keep peace with others? Who could you be more honest with today if you weren't worried about how others would react? And so I think you can see why this one is very gray area, very touchy, is because being honest with yourself is very easy. Or is it? See, a lot of people would think that that's easy, but really being honest with yourself, let's say you started a new diet and you're out and you see a piece of maybe cheesecake at someone's house and they're offering it to you. But you know that you can't have that piece of cheesecake, but you have to be honest with yourself. But you decide, you know what, I'm going to cheat. That's not being honest with yourself anymore. Because now you're taking away from the fact of, you were on a diet, you were going to do good, and now you're cheating with this. Now, if it's your treat meal, no problem. But I'm saying if you're sticking to a regimen to where Sundays is when you get your treat meal and it's Thursday, that's when you're not being honest with yourself. Also, holding yourself back to keep peace with others. You're not being honest with others. You're not even being honest with yourself. Because if you feel strongly about something, but you don't want to have that conflict, you don't want to have that confrontation with that person because you feel like they're doing something that's against you or against somebody else, and in order to keep the peace between you and that person, you decided to hold your tongue, that's not being honest with yourself or others. That's living by feeling. That's living by, well, I don't want to be angry with them. I don't want them to be angry with me. That's a feeling. The truth is you should tell that person, because more likely than not, if they're a mature person, they'll understand what you're saying. So, who could you be honest with today? Is it yourself? Is it with others? So honesty and truth doesn't really rely on feelings. And that's where this whole governed by truth or governed by feelings comes in. So let's look at number 6. Number 6 is desiring growth and challenges versus desiring pleasure and happiness. Do you embrace challenge and look for ways to grow and develop yourself? Or are you more inclined to shy away from change? I don't know why I said charge. I think I was trying to say challenge and change. What areas of life could you start improving yourself in today to become greater value to others? Now, I like this one too, because desiring growth and challenge will only make you get stronger, will only make you grow mentally and physically. And really, when you look at it, when you go through a growth and a challenge and you come through the other side, you feel more accomplished. You feel more pleasure and happiness by doing something like that. A perfect example is somebody running a marathon. It's a challenge. 13.1 miles or 26.2 half marathon, those are a challenge. But when somebody gets through one of those, they grow immensely. They feel accomplished. And you know what? That growth of doing that helps propel them to the next challenge and helps them with the next growth. And it literally is like a building block. You keep stacking these growths and challenges, and before you know it, you're accomplishing things you never thought possible. So, looking at that side of it, now looking at the desiring pleasure and happiness, this is something that I've been wanting to talk about for a long time and work on and help people with, is pleasure and happiness are fleeting emotions. A lot of times it can be addicting like a drug. You look at pleasureness and happiness, and if the best way I can describe it in a very simple term is you're craving a piece of chocolate. You're just craving it. And you know if you have that piece of chocolate, you're going to be happy. You're going to get that pleasure from it. And so you eat that piece of chocolate. You're just like, that chocolate is so good. It tastes so good. The senses in my mouth are just like fireworks going off. And then you finish that piece of chocolate, and all of that sensation goes away, and it's gone. And now you're back to the state you were before you had the piece of chocolate. And you're sitting there going, what can I do to bring that pleasure and happiness back again? And so you have another piece of chocolate. And before you know it, you've ate the whole entire See's Candies box. And now that pleasure and happiness goes to sadness and guilt. Because you've engorged on this box of chocolates, and you've realized that you've eaten so much sugar, so much chocolate, that you're starting to feel like you have a stomachache. So, trying to feed that pleasure and happiness all the time can lead to that. And a lot of people there's a couple studies that I've seen that with instant gratification and trying to chase pleasureness and happiness highs can lead to greater risk of suicide and depression. And so I don't want to totally damper down on this video, but those things are real, and a lot of that chemical imbalance of the pleasure and happiness can come from things like that for depression. I'm not saying that's the root cause, I'm not saying it's the only reason. It's one of the reasons. And so I want you guys to take a second and think about times that you've done pleasureness and happiness. Now, I'm not saying it's bad to have a piece of chocolate. I'm not. Don't get me wrong on that. You can have a piece of chocolate here and there, but you have to pay attention to those feelings of euphoria that you get. And I'm telling you, it can be an addiction. It can be that instant happiness high of buying a new item, having a piece of chocolate, going and drinking a cup of soda. For me, that's a big one. But that's those little pockets of happiness. That's what I'm talking about. Those can become very dangerous for you. And to become mature and learn that it's really about growth and challenges can really help you. And now let's get into our last one, number 7, developing self-awareness versus emotional reactiveness. Do Do you evaluate life and circumstances from an objective viewpoint, or are you more inclined to react emotionally to other people and the circumstances that you face? What changes can you begin making today to help you develop a greater degree of self-awareness? Excuse me. So, developing self-awareness versus emotional reactiveness. I think the best way I can describe this is rational, analytical versus emotional, chaotic. And the reason why I say those words is self-awareness really is paying attention and analyzing what's happening to you. Whether it be you're having a fight with somebody, or you're arguing, or you're in the car driving and there's people around you, or you're in a crowded room and there's people all around you and you're feeling a little bit enclosed. Self-awareness is being able to break down and analyze yourself and look at the things happening to you and what's going on around you. When you're having that fight with somebody and you're both getting very heated, very angry, self-awareness is being able to check yourself and bring yourself back down to rational thinking and be able to conversate with that person without making them feel like you're being emotionally reactive. Now, I know that sounds kind of like what? Being able to break it down and come back down to maturity of, hey, we're angry. Let's look at why we're angry and let's figure out where we can fix this. Rather than screaming at the person and telling them they're wrong, they don't know what they're talking about, yada, yada, yada. Things like that. The emotional reactiveness is when you're in that argument and they say something to you like, well, you're stupid. And you come back because, boom, hits you, your emotions flare up, you react. Well, you're even stupider. I don't even know if that's real, but anyways, you see where it goes back and forth. You guys just constantly feed off your emotions and it goes higher and higher and higher to where eventually something happens, and most of the time it's not good. And so being able to look at circumstances that are happening and be aware of yourself and how you're feeling and how you're reacting can really help other people around you to also be self-aware. It's really strange because I had somebody in my Uber the other day, and she was saying that she was I think she said she was a psychiatrist or something along those lines. Anyways, she was talking about how when people are angry, and if you're nice to them, they can only be angry at you for so long, because if you continue being nice to them, if you continue to be self-aware that they're trying to anger you, or that you're trying to be, in a sense, a better person by continuously showing them, hey, I understand you're emotional right now. I understand you're angry. I'm not going to be angry at you because of your anger. And you continue to be nice to them. It's only a matter of time before they come down from that anger, and basically it's kind of like a meter. Their anger meter is like this, and it slowly dwindles down the more happiness you put in. So it's almost like you're filling up it with happiness or kindness, and their anger is just going away. So I thought it was really funny, and I like how it fits in with this one. So being able to be self-aware and kind of project that on others will help make them also self-aware and bring them away from their emotional reactivity. But again, like I said, a lot of these are perspective. Some of these are black and white, very easy to distinguish between them. But I know some of you have listened to these and go, man, I do that one, or I do the other one, and I should probably be doing the opposite. But it's okay, we're human, we make mistakes, we have to learn and grow, and this is one of the ways we learn and grow, by learning new things, or learning iterations of things we already know, to where we can understand it better. So I hope you guys got something out of this today. Maybe start practicing some of these. Maybe write them down. What I'm going to be doing is writing them on my whiteboard, and that way I can see them every day when I wake up, and just remind myself to choose the more positive of the two and work on that. So if you put them in your bathroom mirror, or not in your bathroom mirror, but on a sticky note on your bathroom mirror, or maybe you have a whiteboard in your room, or you want to create a poster with these on it, I would suggest doing that, and it would really help you see these things every day and really start working on them to grow and mature as a person. So thank you guys for stopping by. Thank you for watching today's video. Hope you liked it. Subscribe. Hit me with a comment down below. Maybe you thought, hey, I don't agree with that one, or maybe you really liked one of them. If you know a friend who needs to hear something, share it off to them. Let them hear it. But most importantly, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and God bless.